propaganda, but just that we decided to put this kind of posters on the wall of our office because we think that as a fact-checking organization, having propaganda posters all around would be kind of a funny reminder of the things that we are working on. So no political statement there, just in case anyone wonders. But today, first of all, I want to thank you, everyone, for taking the time again. As part of the SOMA consortium, we, as Pagella Politica and FACTA, are in charge of coordinating the fact-checking activities and the building of a network of stakeholders at the European level, and not only at the European level, interested in the fight against disinformation. So we have decided to hold a town hall event, so to speak, with two main aims. The first of all, we want to present the work that we have done through the network and to explain what we plan to do and how we plan to do it. For this reason, after my remarks, that will be brief, I promise, I will leave the floor to my colleague Laura. She will present a few examples of the work that we have carried out until today. And after that, it will be the time for Nikos Sarris from ATC, the coordinator of this project. And he will explain functions and potentialities of Truly Media, which is the technological tool made available by the network with the purpose of carrying out collaborative investigations. But most importantly, the second purpose of this event is to listen from you all, so to understand what you expect from the network and which roads for cooperation you see and how the network could be useful for you. So for this reason, after our short presentations, we'll open the floor to anyone who wants to talk. I hear some kind of strong feedback, so if... okay, thanks. I don't hear it anymore. Thank you. So, a little bit of friends. SOMA is an ambitious project, and among its purposes, the one that we are here to talk about today is to build a network of fact-checkers, researchers, and technology experts that can do actual work together on the issues of disinformation. There are many reasons why the cooperation in this field is particularly useful. The first one is that many disinformation campaigns are transnational, as you know, and travel from one country to the other, often with the same narratives and the same actors behind them. A few days ago, we published a report together with 4 other fact-checking organizations from Europe that maps how similar stories spread through Europe during the pandemic. It would be great if we could be able to do something like this inside the SOMA network in the next future. So to compare which narratives are coming up in different countries, which one are similar, if we can say something about the actors, that would be a fantastic way to cooperate, for example. The second reason is that disinformation is a complex phenomenon, so it needs to be approached from different angles and with different tools. Angles that can range from network analysis to good old investigative reporting. So we are particularly happy to have such a diverse membership in this network that today encompasses more than 70 organizations inside SOMA from 28 different countries, and 22 of them are part of the European Union. SOMA can already count on this vast network of organizations that have expressed an interest in knowing more and taking part in its activities. And we would like to start more work together with us, as Pagella Politica, as mediators in this effort, but also with autonomous collaborations among the members. And we hope that events like this will help explain what we can do and you can do. As you know, the European Union has a keen interest in disinformation, and it is taking measures to promote the activities in the field. A couple of months ago, the European Digital Media Observatory was launched, and its activities have just started, but its purpose is to further promote cooperation and research on these topics. So we have decided to dedicate a few minutes to the presentation of this other project, of which both ATC and Pagella Politica are part, in order to explain the links between the two and to explain how the work done together here could be useful for a future involvement in EDMO, so European Digital Media Observatory, EDMO for France. So I won't take more of your time. I got 5 minutes and 5 minutes have passed. We have decided to keep this event short. But I would like to stress finally that we are very open to any further discussion on the issues that will be raised today. So I hope that you'll find this presentation interesting and useful. And I will now leave the floor to Laura. She will tell us what we have done in the past few months and what we plan to do in the next future. Thank you.
Hello. Yes. Hi. Thank you, Giovanni. My name is Laura Loguercio. I'm a fact checker for Pagella Politica. I'm trying to share my screen, so you should all see. Can you all see the presentation?
Yes, Laura. I would just like to briefly interrupt you to say to everyone that we are recording this session so that we make it available to all afterwards. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Nico. So I'm going to start with the potential fields of activity for the SOMA network. So the network is very diverse. So you can find fact checkers, but you can also find organizations that focus on social media monitoring. We also have quite a lot of universities, think tanks, and also tech companies. So the fields of activity is quite wide as well. First of all, of course, we can focus on fact-checking and debunking articles and analysis, which basically aim at stopping the spread of fake news and disinformation or misinformation in the online sphere. We can also focus on media literacy by promoting initiatives aimed at increasing the average levels of media and digital literacy in the countries that are represented in the network. As I said, quite a lot of members come from our academic institutions, think tanks, or research centers. So it's also possible to focus on research by doing reports or analysis about a wide variety of topics, such as policy, society, or geopolitics. And also technology is a strong part of the network. Very shortly, Nico Saris from ATC will present the main tools that the network offers to its members and partners. But apart from that, some of the members of the network are also tech companies who focus on artificial intelligence and user experience. We can also use those fields in our daily activities. As Giovanni was saying, I will briefly present some collaborative investigation that the network has performed during the last couple of months, starting with a fact-checking analysis. So here we at Pagella Politica read that the Italian Minister for Digitalization said that Italy was the first country to adopt a contact tracing application among the major European countries. So we wanted to fact-check that claim, and in order to do that, we collaborated with the members of the SOMA network. So we asked them whether they knew if their government had already implemented a contact tracing application, or if they were testing one, or they were just not interested. And eventually we found out that the Italian minister was only slightly inaccurate in her claim. The second investigation is about social media monitoring. So here we use the tool of TruthNest, which Nikos will present very shortly. Thanks to that, so thanks to TruthNest, we analyzed the Twitter accounts of the most important Italian political parties. And we found out that all of them presented a certain percentage of both, so of inactive users that are likely to be fake accounts. And the last example is a fake news analysis and explanation. So this means that here we focus on the topic of the 5G technology, which became extremely popular during the COVID-19 pandemic because people were saying that the 5G technology can somehow help spreading the virus, or it can make it worse for humans. And instead of just fact-checking these claims, which of course we know they are completely unfounded, We also tried to understand where this fake news came from and where it spread, and how it eventually links with other examples of disinformation, such as the topic of vaccines. Of course, these are just some of the activities that the network can do and that we've done during the last couple of months. And for what concerns the next project, that we could for sure do some periodic reports and monitoring activities on a rolling basis on really a wide variety of topics, such as, for example, we could focus on the topic of foreign influences. This is something that is maybe a bit more specific, but still would be really interesting, both for research, so academic institutions, but also for the general public. And the last example of the next project could be a disinformation or misinformation report, which is such as the one that Giovanni just talked about. So this is the report that we, as Pagella Politica, did with other 4 European fact-checking projects. And the report is available in 5 different languages, so I'm going to go to the English one. And basically, with these other partners, we focus on the time frame of March and April 2020 to look at the most common examples of disinformation about the COVID-19 epidemic. So we look at the most common topics, where they spread and when they spread, for example, by doing these timelines. And also we did 2 case studies about the most popular one, which were predictably Bill Gates and all the fake news related to the personality of Bill Gates and the 5G technology. So this is all for me. I'm trying to stop the, okay. So this is all for me. I'm going to leave the floor to Nikos, who's going to present the tools offered by the SOMA network. Thank you. Nikos?
Thank you, Laura. Anyone has any question, of course, in the meantime, like, share my screen.
Nikos, I don't know if you're talking, but we can't hear you. I can't hear you at least.
You must be having some connection troubles.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll just take advantage of this moment while we wait for him to get back to say that if you have questions, observation, or anything you would like to discuss, you can put them in the, either put them in the chat there on the screen, and so we can discuss them later in the open session, or just pose them directly with the microphone open during the open discussion session.
Sorry, Nikos, we really can't hear you. I'll try to send him a message, otherwise I just...
Otherwise, I can just go forward with my presentation. Only thing is that he needs to make me a presenter, but I can do without the slides, that's no problem.
Okay. Technology. Fascinating. Also sometimes not reliable. Everyone says, oh, now we can work from remote. Yeah, but you spend half the time fixing the connection. Because still can't hear you. I'll send him also a message. On this private telephone, just 1 second, then we'll leave the floor to Sylvia. Without the slides, so. Okay, something happened there. So I think we'll leave the floor to Sylvia for now, and then we'll go back to Nikos if he comes back.
All right, then. I'll just without the slides, then we'll see if I have the opportunity to put them up. So I was just going to take the floor, as Giovanni anticipated, to say a few words about this new project also focused on contrasting disinformation, which has just been launched in June 2020, and which we thought might be of interest to you because of its very close relation and connection to the work done by SOMA, the SOMA project so far, of which you all are part. So, as you might recall, the SOMA is a project financed by the European Commission for an overall period of 30 months. So this means that its period of activity will officially end in May 2021 next year. However, as Giovanni was anticipating in his introduction, the European Union has a very keen interest in information and is taking a lot of measures to promote the activities in its field. So in this context, in June 2020, the European Digital Media Observatory, also known as EDMO, was launched with the purpose of further promoting the cooperation between stakeholders at the European Union level. So this EDMO project will basically take up the work that's been done by SOMA and scale it up for greater reach and impact. Now, I had a very nice slide with a list of the main purposes and objectives that EDMO is going to put forward and implement, which include the realization of a basically searchable. Oh, here it is. Of a searchable repository of fact checks and media literacy material and other such kind objectives and aims. However, the overall purpose of EDMO, without going into too much detail, is that of supporting and coordinating the efforts of both fact-checkers and academics working on disinformation in Europe. So, as you can see, very, very similar to the purposes of SOMA. I guess that now some of you might be wondering, so why should I invest time and efforts in SOMA if a new project is coming up? Oh, here is Nikos.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can hear you now.
Okay. It was strange because previously I could hear you, but obviously I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. Right. Can you see my screen as well?
Yes. No, I had started my part.
Would you like me to pass the presenter mode to you?
I guess that's okay. I've already started and said most of what I was going to say. So I can just finish up before your presentation, if that's okay for you.
Okay. So please finish. Sorry for the interruption.
So I was just saying that I guess that after presenting this new project EDMO, some of you might be wondering why should I invest time in SOMA if this new project is coming up? And my answer there is, to put it plainly, is that provided that of course the rules and procedures for admission to EDMO have not been decided yet, we see participation to SOMA as kind of propedeutic to EDMO, in the sense that the links between the two projects exist and they're very strong. So the more an organization has engaged in SOMA and shown to be active in SOMA, the more natural, so to say, so the easier it will be for it to be admitted to the new observatory in the future. So overall, my bottom line here is if you're interested in cooperating with the other European organizations working on disinformation, do engage in SOMA, because the project represents really an opportunity for your organization to expand its outreach and be part of a great network of stakeholders, both now, as long as SOMA is active, and later, when SOMA is no longer active and new projects like EDMO will come up. And I'm happy to answer any questions or go deeper into EDMO here. We just wanted to say a few words. So I'll just leave the floor to Nikos now, and then in the open session we can get deeper into any topic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. So I will quickly run you through the technological infrastructure that we have made available to the members, which is in two parts. The first is a collaborative environment platform. This is called Media. This is the one you're looking at now. And it works in 3 steps. find, organize, verify. So in the first step, you set up your sources that you would like to monitor, the queries that you would like to monitor. So you either set up feeds like the ones you see here, or you pass queries, free text queries, which you can also translate to different languages before you send them over to many available sources like Google, like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, 4chan. We have integrated the CrowdTangle API where you can also get results, several EU sources and European data sources. And the other thing that you can also do is watch the trending stories as they are recorded by the European Commission, European Media Monitoring Tool, which is a platform that monitors thousands of sources and organizes the items, the news items found in stories, and it shows us the trending stories actually. So many different ways of monitoring content. And then when a member of the team wants to start a collaborative investigation, they create what we call a collection. These here are collections. So for example, here is one collection where in collections you can easily add items either by dragging and dropping from the feeds or by using an extension on Twitter, on the Twitter browser, the Facebook browser, YouTube or Twitter, where you can directly send items into the collection, or you can just type a URL and create an item by its URL, or you can just upload a file. Many different types of files are supported. So almost any type of item can be added to these collections. These collections you can annotate things, you can add tags, you can add comments, you can assign tasks, you can chat with the team, you can filter, you can prioritize, many different functionalities to organize the content within the collection. So this is the second part. And then the third part you get to by selecting the details, clicking on the details button of on any item, where it takes you to this third level, where there is a collaborative verification checklist, which is structured under areas of information that are interesting for verification purposes. So whatever every member of the team discovers, they note down on this checklist, and it is recorded and it is immediately visible to the rest of the team. And then on the right side, we have several tools that we have integrated, like image tools, like, for example, being able to do reverse image search and find visually similar photographs or part of videos anywhere on the web. You can cut items of the photograph and do reverse image search on that. You can annotate parts of the photograph. You can investigate photographs with some tools that we have for magnifying or for doing forensic analysis on the photographs. Similar tools on video. Tools for quickly getting information on the source, on the location. We have integrated Google Maps and you can easily note down places, mark them and save the coordinates or save them as landmarks and make them available to the rest of the team. And then if you are investigating a source, a particular source on Twitter, you can use also Truthness, which gives you a lot of metrics, analytics on the profiling this source, some labels characterizing the activity, the influence, and the potential of that being a bot. And then many metrics structured under activity, network, and influence, where you can get a very good view of the activity of that source on Twitter, on hashtags, mentioned users, retweeted users, kind of tweets, kind of content in the tweets, websites that they are mostly mentioning, languages that are used, posting tools, posting images. So all that is about the activity. Then many metrics about the network of the source, and many metrics on the influence of the source. This connects to Truly Media on the verification page when we are investigating an item that is then you can directly go to Truthers within that page. And finally, the members of the network, the investigators, flag what they believe about this item, whether they think this is fake, verified, or whatever, based on the information that they have already recorded on the checklist. And anything that is recorded on the checklist is logged, so the whole team knows what everyone has done on the investigation of a particular item. And this information is passed back on the checklist, on the collection, so that the team can decide how they can use the information that has been gathered in their publications. So this is a quick view of the technological structures. We do also focused webinars where we explain the functionalities in more detail, and there is one that has been recorded and is available to all the new members, all the organizations that become members. And whatever else you can, you have a problem on the infrastructure, you can discuss it first with Agenda Politica during the investigation that we are working with them, and then we can also discuss with us, and we can explain better on the functionalities.
Thank you, Nikos. Thank you very much for your presentation. So now, following the agenda, we are just 5 minutes late, I think, and I think it is time to open the floor to the participants. So if you have any questions on the things that we said, or any ideas on the things that we could have said, or any observation on this project, please, it's the moment to share. Thank you. So just one technical note. We will send you a follow-up questionnaire on this event specifically, and more generally on the network and what you expect from it and how it can be useful for you. Is there anyone that wants to jump in?
Hello, I just have a question about TruthNest. And you were showing the Twitter accounts there. Can you get that information about the network and the influence for any Twitter account? Or would you have to have pre-registered certain accounts?
No, any Twitter account, Eileen. It's you just give the username of that account, and it does the analysis in real time on Twitter. It uses the search API on Twitter. Utilizing your credentials, because you log in with your credentials, so it uses your personal key. So that's why we are not also blocked with many people doing it, using it at the same time.
Oh, brilliant. That's really useful.
Thank you for breaking the ice. Is there anyone else? Yeah, Andy, please.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Thanks for this meeting, for organizing it. My name is Andy Stoichev, and I'm connecting from Sofia today. And you will probably see 2 or 3 of my other colleagues also on the meeting. I have two questions, actually. One question and one observation, if you allow me. First is about the Truly Media dashboard that we just looked at. I understand how the concept of collections and teams that work on the same subject is built upon. I was just interested in how exactly is the communication going on between the teams working on the same subject. Is it also within the dashboard? Do you keep the sort of coordination there, or is that conversation taking place somewhere else?
No, it is taking place in there, and let me show you. in particular. There are several different ways. One way is to use this chat part here, where you can immediately send messages to the team. Whatever you write is visible to the whole team. If you click on the add sign here also, it gives you all the members that are connected to you, and if you start typing, it just limits the members of the reach to that key strokes. So it's easier to send a message to someone in specific. And you can also, a nice functionality is that you can also drag and drop items. You see this cross here. If you grab it from here, you can drag and drop it in the chat window. So you can immediately message and use a link to a particular item.
Yeah, and I see. That's great.
There is also a more general messaging functionality where you can go to messages here and you can send any private message to any one of your connections. And you are automatically connected to all the people in the SOMA organization because you are a part of the SOMA organization. But you can also try to connect with members from other organizations. So if you go here,
I am afraid it's breaking up. I'm not sure on which side. Is it yours or mine?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Cannot hear me?
I could hear you fine, Nikos, so probably it's on Andy's side.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is that you can add a contact, so you can send an invitation to any person on Truly, which includes other organizations like Amnesty International, like the European Parliament, like Deutsche Welle. So you can ask them to connect to you, and if they accept that invitation, they also become a member of your network, and you can collaborate with those persons as well. And another interesting messaging functionality is this button up here, where it allows you to send a question to 3 official institutions of the European Union: the European Parliament fact-checkers, the DG.com of the Disinformation team of the DG.com, and Eurostat. So you can send a question to them, and that team will answer to you within this ticket, and this answer will be available and visible to the rest of the team as well. So these are different ways of communicating.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you for clarifying this for us. And the observation that I wanted to make is that, well, firstly, we went through the webinar that you had recorded a few months ago. Do I still have you?
Yeah. Yes, I hear you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm switching off the video. That might be a problem. We are looking at disinformation from a slightly different angle than you guys, and we're actually finishing a 2-year project which has another 2 or 3 years of prehistory of research, and it's focused on cognitive science and neuroscience. And the particular direction we're taking is how misinformation and disinformation impacts the field of education and training. Now, we understand that most of the hot topics around disinformation are in the news cycle, but after they stop being hot topics, they are still on the net, still available to people who do research for educational purposes, for their learning assignments and things like that. So we would like to keep our focus on education and training during our collaboration with you. And we are particularly interested in the original carriers and the original media via which disinformation comes through. So what I see, for example, on the screen right now on the dashboard, there's a lot of posts and tweets and pictures. And our take on them would be what sort of manipulation attempt, if any, would there be in the choice of colors or in the in the emphasis that is put on particular parts of the photograph or the account that it comes from, or whether it's anonymous or registered, or how many followers does it have. So if you allow us a little experiment in the next few days, let's say within the next week, we will open a new collection, and we'll probably pull some of the pictures and the original articles and posts and tweets that you've collected for other investigations of yours, and we'll try to demonstrate how our cognitive layer would work on top of that. And we think that would be an interesting marriage, if you wish, of where investigative journalism can pair with a deeper understanding on cognitive level processes. The results we have from the tests we've run is that even with very simple and very short training interventions, by showing the ways our minds process information, that can be very, very efficient in making users more, learners in our case, in making them much more aware of what's around them. We did some comparative tests, and fact-checking versus demonstrating the cognitive processes that contribute to manipulation, they have dramatically different success levels. I'm sorry about taking so much of the time. I just wanted to introduce and explain what we will be trying to do in the few days, putting our layer on top of your work and see if that can be of any good. So thank you for your time and patience.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much. And I think that will be very interesting for the members, and I hope many members also work with you as it is needed in this research. And this is why we're doing this whole thing, and why we have created the community, to have such interesting ideas from members and other members participating and helping, providing their perspectives from their own countries and their own expertise. So as you are doing that, so when you start doing that, it's good that you also send an email to the list of the members. You can send it, or we can send it, explaining what you have explained to us also now, and inviting other organizations, explaining what kind of expertise, what you would need, if you need any, to participate and help you and do something together.
Thank you very much for this suggestion, Nikos. We'll certainly take up on it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Andy. We will follow up for sure. With Pagella, we will follow up for sure on that, because it sounds really interesting and something that we can build upon.
Grazie, Giovanni.
Thank you. Anyone else? I see Mikko.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mikko. Hi, Mikko.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for organizing this and reaching out to the community. Really good. And also thanks, Andy. Very interesting effort. One of the founders of the Fakta Bar, and we try to do the edu link as well a lot, and that sounded very good. And it's actually a good pretext to my question that would have been more to the future oriented and EDMO. And especially as we have like a Pagella who is a kind of reference for a fact checker working in these networks, is that how do you see the specific role of fact checking in relation to the research that is done, so to say, because there should be a lot of potential. EDMO in the end is still a call that where it's a research organization who is kind of applying, and we are kind of citing it. So do you have a best practice or something you could kind of share with us? I mean, how do you work with the researchers?
So EDMO started 1 month ago officially, I think. So it is still very much in the phase where it is kind of setting up the executive board, the advisory board. We actually have just drafted the internal charter for the functioning of the organization. So we are kind of still in the organizational level. From what I saw, the idea is mainly to promote centers for research and for generally for around the disinformation issues at the national level. So I think that one thing that will be crucial will be the promotion of these specific centers. As far as the collaboration among fact checkers and researchers is concerned, we haven't any specifics yet in the links between fact-checking and academia, so to say, but the lead applicant is the European University Institute. So for sure, I can say that there is a strong focus on the research university side, so to say. But together with that, what we will plan to do and what we plan to do with what we will do, I think, is to kind of keep also another path open that will be more on practical and on hands-on activities like the one that we have been doing and that we will continue to do with SOMA. So on the specific link, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think it will become clear in the next couple of months.
May I also add to that there are also two specific tasks. One task is looking at the fact-checking, at mapping the fact-checking activities. So we will create a kind of friendly to use, easy to use repository where somebody can easily discover all the important fact-checking activities that are taking place in Europe and beyond. And also we will create a database of fact checks that have already been carried out by credible fact-checking organizations so that you can easily search that and find information. So this is the one side of mapping the fact-checking universe, let's say. And then there is another task that maps the academic universe, where they will, Aarhus University is leading that, and they will do research on all the research that has been done and is being done in the academic society. And there will also be a repository, research repository on that, being able to help as resources for this collaboration. But how this collaboration will take place, as Giovanni said, it's still to be decided.
Oh, thank you. That's very interesting. That just basically just now that we should see the fact checkers and the best possible academic institutions to collaborate, because now it's the application stage. So yeah, we know something, of course, in Finland and so on, but yeah, I think it's the many fact-checking efforts. I know that they don't have necessarily so much linkages to that one, so that might be a little bit of question to support. But the idea is really good, of course, and that's why I was especially with I know that you have a center in Greece as well, but in Italy, Pagella, so working within the SOMA and now with the EDMO kind of the center, that if there is a kind of a pattern, how does it really, do you have a joint meetings with these people, so or at the stage or planning, so some sort of that, because we know I have another hat in the university, so it's very easily just like we do our working package researchers and we do our fact checks, we write as a journalist, and where do this world meet, so to say? That's what's the value added there. But I understood it's in making, but if there is any other hints, we can come back to that one later as well. But very important.
Yeah, for sure we are. Yeah. Thank you for raising this one. We'll have to follow up more on the specifics of that for sure. But if there are big announcements, we will make everyone know. Is there anyone else that wants to jump in? I can't see all of you. Let me check. So, I don't see any other hands raised. So let me just remind you that we will send up a short follow-up questionnaire. It is very, very useful for us if you put your thoughts in there. And so thank you for the interesting insights. We saw something on education and training, so I'm interested in that field. It's something that we definitely will be interested to pursue also as a network. We are fact checkers, so not so expert on that field, but with your help, we can also kind of try to coordinate some activities in order to understand who is doing what in that field of, let's say, media literacy, education, training, that kind of things. So we've talked a little bit about the technological tools. It is very good to see that there's an interest in what we have to offer in that field, and also among the links between research and fact-checking, which is something that we will have to pursue both in SOMA and in the future endeavor of EDMO. So thank you very much for joining us, and please follow up with the questionnaire and write to us if you have any other questions and observations. Keep an eye on the emails. We'll write to you soon, also on the activities that we plan to do next. Thank you, everyone. Just shoot us an email if you want to ask anything. Nikos, would you like to remind us the email if someone has questions or suggestions?
info@disinfoobservatory.org. So the same domain that the website is at, disinfoobservatory.org, just info@ there, and we will channel it appropriately.
Okay, thank you, Nikos. Info@disinfo. This is also kind of a fun. Thank you, everyone. Let's talk soon then.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.